Hello, I'm Claire and welcome to the Claire Closet. We're back on set in the loft here at my apartment with some amazing female entrepreneurs, and today we're going to look at motivation. How do we stay motivated? How do we motivate ourselves? And especially, when there's times of the year when we're not sure what we're supposed to do, how do we push through and keep our business sustainable?
How do you keep motivated when it feels like you're getting nowhere?
Tanya is another entrepreneur on set here with us, and I remember us having this conversation. I remember calling you and being like, I feel burnt out, or I'm just completely run down and I'm trying to do something. And I remember you saying, Claire, treat this like travel time. You have to do this job. Right now you need to shut everything down. And I think that's the biggest thing to try and get motivated. Sometimes it's because it's not a lack of motivation, you're actually exhausted. And I think that's the number one thing when entrepreneurs say, how do you stay motivated? I think we're naturally motivated. I think it's exhaustion, or, we've been pushing, we're kind of tunnel vision for so long.
You drain yourself right out, so you're too tired to actually apply yourself to anything.
Exactly. And I think you said, stop doing everything. And it's true. I just stopped, and I took the day and I spent the day doing things probably that had absolutely nothing to do with being motivated or helping me with my work. But actually the opposite happened, that because I wasn't focusing on, what I was going to do with my business, I kind of, went for a walk, went and ate something that I absolutely loved, and I kind of just breathed. And I think that those moments of just, quiet build, that energy inside you, and then the next day comes and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm motivated, and then you're killing it, and you put in double the amount of the work the next day, and it's golden. So I have a hard time believing that entrepreneurs a lot of time are saying they're not motivated. I think we just kind of hit walls of exhaustion, or pushing ourselves too hard.
Obviously we've defined that there's a difference between being exhausted and being unmotivated, and often people mix them up. But it doesn't change the fact that you are stuck and you're not moving. So once you've defined what that difference is, what is the next step?
I've paced this loft multiple nights being like, Claire, what are you doing next? Where's your direction? Where are you going? And honestly, what I've learned, it's not going to be light bulb moments every day, and you're not going to be like, and someone just appears and says, Claire, this is what you need to be doing. It's not like that. But I do think being stuck is totally natural, and it's your choice. We have the choice to be stuck. So to unstuck yourself, we should be always pivoting. So at least lift up a foot, move it somewhere else, metaphorically speaking, and maybe physically, but go somewhere, do something, just make some small change in what you're doing. And that little change is going to kind of open up a new sense of direction or perspective, or kind of enlighten you in a certain way. And it might not be the answer, but you're going to get somewhere, and then you can pivot off that, and then you move there, and then over time the light bulb moment will come. But I think when you're stuck, that's okay. Embrace being stuck and feeling frustrated, because it means you're onto something. There's something there, and you're getting frustrated because you're capable of finding whatever that niche or that need is that you're gonna find. So just lift up the foot, move somewhere else, and then you'll find that place where you need to be.
You're not stuck anymore. But now, how do you get motivated to just get out of bed and start working?
I don't think the problem isn't getting up and doing it, but it's what should I start with? What's the most important? How do I know, should I be working on my marketing, or should I be actually finding clients, or should I be branding, or should be sometimes you're what is the most important thing right now for my brand? And I think a lot of us, I would assume that we kind of deal with that. You're today, what's the priority? Obviously, when you have to go and do a job, that's priority. But when you're at home and you're working from home, it can be what do I do? And I think the best thing, my little sister Anne, she's awesome. Her and I, we always talk about this. We have a book called the 5-Minute Book of Gratitude, and it's 5 minutes every day. And when you get up in the morning, you set 3 things that you want to accomplish and that you're going to feel really good about in the day. Because for me, when I wake up, I remember one day I had a list of 93 things that I wanted to do. It's ridiculous, I know, and no one can accomplish that. But that's like, some days I feel like I could, but it's ridiculous and you'll go crazy. But it's nice. Now you get up and you write the things you're grateful for, 3 things you want to accomplish. And so for me, when I get up, I'm like excited because I'm like, okay, it's almost like a challenge. Like, okay, these are 3 things, Claire, you got to make sure you do. And then, if you finish them and you want to do more, you can, and that's great. If you don't, then you've accomplished what you do. So I always carry around my book. I have a notebook. I have multiple notebooks, but I have one and I write down everything. And I always have checklists for every single day, every night, almost. I'm making lists all day long, but I always, in the morning, I have the 3 main things that are most important that have to get done. And this did not happen overnight. This has taken many, many years, but I've recognized there's so much more peace in my life, and especially getting things done. I'm more focused. I'm not overwhelmed by 93 things. I have 3, and it's doable. So, staying motivated is having a list that you can stick to and that you're accountable for.
What's the most rewarding thing about working for yourself?
Over the last 10 years, I've really got to know myself really well, and when I'm working at my best, and there's a lot of situations where I know I really like working alone. I'm the most creative when I'm by myself sometimes, and then I like to be around people, but I need the balance and I need to control it. So sometimes for me, working in a 9-to-5, sometimes you don't have a choice when you want different energy levels. And I think for me, when you're working alone, you get to dictate, when you're putting yourself out there and when you're going to stay in and be quiet. And for me, I get energy off people, but I get really exhausted really quickly. So for me, it's really nice. I block into my schedule. I put rest day. Working for someone else, you can't really do that, and you can't be sorry, I need to be around a different energy level, or today I can't be around people. You're working as a team. So when you're by yourself, it's so rewarding because you get your optimal health level. I'm so happy, and I think that's attributed to I really get to check in with myself every day and be like, how are you feeling, and what are you going to do to, have the perfect day and be able to help the most amount of people. And I can do that from, monitoring my own self and motivating myself, and working at home allows me to do that.